And we're live. Well, hello there YouTube. This is a very unusual scenario. I'm actually live on a Thursday. Don't worry, we haven't jumped a week ahead. Today is not my 1 year channelversary. That is next Thursday. The whole reason I'm broadcasting live on YouTube tonight and not tomorrow night is because England plays Scotland in the European Championships, and it could get rather loud in this house. So I thought I would do a very impromptu live stream this evening. Now, not really up to much at the moment. I'm sort of sorting out some video titles. I'm kind of sort of amending something. You know, I'm trying to sort of work my way around the algorithms of YouTube, shall we say. I think the main titles of my story, because I've been referring to them as LOW ampersand and H, which is not perhaps the most clear of things. So what I'm doing is I'm just going through all my files on my channel and I'm updating all the titles so that they all actually say the same thing, which makes a lot more sense. As I say, next Thursday is my 1 year channelversary, so I hope to do a celebration then. I'm not going to be on here for very long tonight. As I say, the reason I'm doing it today and not tomorrow is the fact that England is playing Scotland, and let's just say the background noise wouldn't exactly be, would probably disrupt proceedings, shall we say. Not in a bad way, but you know, I don't think you want to hear people sort of in the house shouting at the TV. So yeah, so really at the moment I'm just trying to do some updating to my channel. I've been sharing a lot of stuff on there recently. Got a brand new title card because obviously at the weekend I changed my name. So obviously I'm no longer Afo ASMR, I'm Ondarian ASMR. I always have toyed with changing my channel name, and I realised that the term AFOL is, first of all, not very well known. It does stand for Adult Fan of Lego. However, I think if people came to my channel whilst it had the name of AFOL, I imagine they would expect it to be very much Lego oriented. Now there is a Lego video on there of me building the A-Wing Lego set, but that really is the only Lego related video on there, so it's not really worthy to call myself Afo ASMR. So I had a think, and I've been thinking about rebranding my channel for a while now anyway, which I think would, which I thought would improve things. So I sort of sat there and wrote down in my head I wrote down some names. A couple of the names I thought of was along the lines of things like Gentleman ASMR, or Chap ASMR Chap, or the ASMR Chap, and I thought that doesn't exactly stand out. You know, I thought I need something that stands out amongst the crowd and very much relates to what I create on my channel. And, you know, I thought, well, what actually gets mentioned quite a lot? You know, what phrases actually get mentioned quite a lot in my videos, obviously being story based. And I thought to myself, Ondar City gets mentioned a lot, as does the Ondarian monarchy. And of course, the number of times characters refer to themselves, if they're from the monarchy, as Ondarian. So I actually decided to go with the name Ondarian because it stands out, and it's a punchy, you know, it catches the attention, it catches people's eye because they think, oh, Ondarian, what's that? And of course it draws them into the channel. Now, you know, that's the main primary reason I chose to do that, because obviously in social media you've got to have a punchy name to be noticed. You know, that, or you get found by an influencer. Now obviously the chances of me being found by someone of influence, shall we say, you know, someone saying, you know, oh my god, you've got to go and see this channel, you know, that chances of that ever happening are incredibly slim. So I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, through creativity, hard work, and, you know, building friendships in the community, in, you know, the social media communities that I'm part of, you know, and that's, you know, the best way to do it. As I say, you know, the chances of, you know, discovery is very, very, very slim. And, you know, I mean, I've done some bits and pieces on Twitter and Instagram, that I've shared here on YouTube, which is of course the short promos that I made where I'm doing the voice characters. Now obviously you will notice that yes, it is me talking in the voices. I always say it in the I always list what software and editing packages I use. I use Audacity for my voice changing software, because obviously with a lot of my characters I have to change the pitch. I mean, Lord Volkov, for example, yes, I do a very deep voice for him, but it's not deep enough for me to actually get it to that rich timbre that you hear on the episodes. So I use Audacity to take it down to a pitch of -20, whilst whereas say someone like Rafik is only -15. The same goes for Trajan and Garen. They're both at a pitch of -15. Geoffrey of Trigon is -20 as well. The only characters where I haven't actually reduced the pitch is Lancelot Phipps, which actually is my own voice, just incredibly, terribly, terribly posh. You know, just me talking, oh I say, it's a calamity, sort of thing, you know, that sort of thing, which meant, I mean, Lancelot Phipps was a lot of fun to perform in Diplomatic Disaster, which was the second Cleo and Trajan story. Anyway, so, you know, I do use audio editing software through as Audacity, which there we go. As I say, I'm just going through amending all my titles to make them fit a bit more into my, to make them a bit more searchable. That's the real secret. It's all about, if there's one thing I have learned through, hi Afterlife, thank you for joining me. Yeah, if there's one thing I have learned with YouTube is, and everyone's told me this, it's all about the algorithm. You know, you've got to be able to work the algorithm. And, you know, it is trial and error. It is very much trial and error. Oh, the birds are, it's about 20 to 8 in the evening over here. So the birds are sort of getting, I've got windows open, it's quite warm here. So you'll hear the birds out in our back garden. I think that was a blackbird. Anyway, so you know, I've basically gone through a reinvention, as it were. You know, I haven't closed my channel, I haven't taken any of my original videos down. What I have done is rename the channel, giving it a new look, you know, giving myself a new name, new identity. You know, it's still me. It's still, you know, the person you knew as Afro ASMR. All that's happened is I've rebranded. I've completely rebranded because I think if you want to try and get by in this. Hello, thank you for joining me, Thomas Dow. Sorry, I'm on my phone, so I can't really see the. Thank you for joining me, Thomas. I'm using my phone because I'm using an app. It's a small channel, so I don't have the facilities on YouTube itself to live stream directly. So yeah, as I was saying, you know, I've completely rebranded my channel. You're welcome. So yeah, I'm sort of, as I said at the very beginning, I normally do these on a Friday. I'll probably do another one next Thursday, because next Thursday is actually my 1 year channelversary. So I might try and do it then. If not, it will be next Friday. The reason I'm doing it tonight and not tomorrow is that... Hi, Brian. Yeah, the reason I'm doing it tonight and not tomorrow night is that England play Scotland in the European Championships football, soccer for my American friends. Sorry, that was my fan control. And obviously the background noise. I'm not really a football fan myself. I admit I'm not really a football fan. I'm more along the lines of cricket. You know, support Kent. Obviously, this is a England rugby. Sorry, my chair. I did WD-40 this chair at the weekend, so hopefully it won't be. It shouldn't be as noisy as it used to be. So, you know, Ronan, good to see you, my good sir. Indeed, thank you for joining me. Sorry that I'm not looking at my screen. I'm actually sort of. This is one of those sort of times where I'm actually working on some project stuff, at the same time. I've still got to write the narration for chapter 13, but good news, we have all the segments for chapter 13. Yeah, if I use duct tape, this chair won't spin, and sometimes I like to wheel out into the middle of the room and just spin like a kid, you know. Yeah, I'm a big kid. But yeah, the good news is we have all the segments for chapter 13, and I am very much in the process of editing them all. Not quite together because, as I say, I've still got to write and record the narration, which won't be an issue. So it won't be this weekend. I'm afraid there won't be a premiere this weekend because I already have prior arrangements. But it's good arrangements. I'm going to see friends, so you know I'm catching up with some friends. Oh, I see. Right. Yeah. Okay. See, this is the thing. You can't see this because it's not on your screen. Let's see. Yeah, because I can actually get there's a time delay, but I can actually see the live stream on my screen here. But of course, where's my camera? Oh, there. So here is a list of all the chat. So we've got Thomas there, Brian, and then obviously yourself there, Ronan. Yeah, it's nice. I'm going up to Peterborough, sort of for the afternoon. I'm going to catch up with some. Well, they're friends of my best friend, but you know I've become sort of friends with them as well, on a social level, not friends as in you know friends. No, that's wrong. That is wrong. You understand what I mean, though. I'm trying to word it. The words are coming out, but they're not exactly. My brain doesn't let me say what I want to say, as it were, and it comes out sounding worse than it's meant to. Such is life. As I say, I'm probably going to be on here for about. Excuse me. I'm just coming off camera for a sec. There we go. I didn't think you wanted to see that after last week's clanger. Yeah. Julie, hello. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in the chat. Let me just check my reminders because as Julie's here, I do believe that you have a premiere this evening, don't you? About 9 o'clock UK, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Seaboard Time, whatever it is. I think it's 9 o'clock over here for us. I've set my reminder, so I implore everyone, head over to Julie's channel, sleepingartistasmr.com. .com? Oh dear. Don't ask me how much coffee I've drunk today. Yeah, I've got my reminder set anyway. So UK time it's 9 p.m, 4 p.m. Eastern Seaboard time, and I'm looking forward to it. So you know, I do recommend clicking that reminder, you know, click that reminder. That's what I love about. Oh, hang on, what's going on here? I don't know. Something happened. Something happened. My laptop seems to have a mind of its own these days. The thing is, I've got a TV screen here and a screen on and my actual laptop. The TV screen is, I think, is something like a 22-inch screen, so it's big enough. It's much clearer than what I normally work with. So, well, with what I used to work with. I can show you here. Hang on. That's what I love about this app. So we'll go to the rear cam. So there's my laptop screen. And then obviously there is the screen I actually work with. So, you know, obviously my Twitter feed, you know, all that. And yes, I do have my one of my title cards as my background on both screens. Oh, that's all right. Yeah, that's just my editing software that I use. So I've just edited Dappist ASMR's piece for chapter 13. Basically, I've put in some fade outs so we can remove that, and then we've just got Heliquin Noir's ASMR video to do. So I will just quickly do that. We'll go back. I will just place you down, and in a minute I will probably do the room tour I've been talking about doing. Hello Justin, thank you for joining me. I'm just doing a tiny little bit of editing. Duration 2 seconds. That's for the fade outs. I don't use the fade transition. I prefer to use the dissolve transition and create my own fade. I actually have special blank slides that I've created specifically to create. Now obviously I'm not going to show, you know, I won't show any of this because once I announce chapter 13 to be broadcast, yeah, we'll be having a look at them in a minute, Thomas. Yeah. So I will just export this video. Moon Shaman Moon. Did I call her Moon Shadow or Moon Shine? I can't remember. Did I call her Moon Shadow or Moon Shine? Moon Shadow. I'm being followed by Moon Shadow, Moon Shadow, Moon Shadow. I think that's where I got the name from, actually. I'm being followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. Complete. Export. So, let's just check the battery. 60% might be long enough, as long as I make the tour quick. There we go. As long as I make the tour quick, we should be okay. So, we'll go to... So, here is the room. Oh, that's my monopod on the floor. Seems to have... in my bag. In one of my bags, anyway. So, got my tripod down there, but there's other bits there. So we'll start with the bookshelves. At the very top we've got some of my Funko Pops. Let me just raise this up because then I can bring it in line. So at the very top, if you can hear me, is Vegeta Goku Perfect Cell, because I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan. Next down we've got the Red Ranger, Green Ranger, White Ranger and Lord Zed. And then of course one of my favourite video games, which I haven't actually played in a while, Overwatch. Obviously, Tureborn, Reaper, Tracer, McCree and Symmetra. And the box behind... Oh, and this is actually my sort of attempt at creating soundproofing. Behind that is actually the door of my room. So I might need a thicker curtain, but it does. And then of course we've got here, I'm very big on the paranormal. So I've got quite a few ghost books, quite a few by the late great Derek. I think one of them's signed. I can't remember which one, but I did have the honour of meeting Derek Acora a while ago. Obviously we've got some Doctor Who figurines. I collect Doctor Who figurines. I must do something about Allghost again. That I've been meaning to publicise a bit more, where basically people just read their favourite ghost stories, or so yeah, these are all my... I mean, I've got some small ghost books there. Most of these are books I've bought on holiday, or days out, like London. I have got some of my home county. I mean, I'm from Kent, so that's one from my home county. Maidstone and Tunbridge Wells are two of the towns in my home county. Oh, there's another one there. You'll notice a number of them are written by Peter Underwood. He's no longer alive, of course, but he wrote... He was one of the leading sort of ghost investigators in the country. Next down we have, if I just move that book out of the way, my steampunk novels. Let me just put that one down there. So next we have my steampunk novels, some bits from my childhood, my Tazo collection, which were like Pogs, my Star Wars data file, the old fun facts, kids today, and then of course we've got my steampunk novels that I've bought over the years. Curious Case of a Clockwork Man, Dreadnought, Bone Shaker, which are part of the same series. Sherlock vs Cthulhu is a lot of fun. Moriarty, The Affinity Bridge, Martian Ambassador. Morlock Knight is a pseudo-sequel to The Time Machine. And you've heard me read extracts from Letters Between Gentlemen before. And then, of course, we've got the I can never remember what they're called. Ah, yes, The Ministry of Peculiar Occurrences. And that's a trilogy of steampunk novels, which I highly recommend. Do I blur that one out? The Best of Me, or Is Everything Shit? Yes, I did just swear on camera. This is a live stream. Don't let the kids watch, folks. And then obviously these are all comedy-based books. Then obviously my huge plethora of Doctor Who DVDs. I have got most of them. Oh, hello Marigold. Thank you for joining me. If you're interested, Marigold, drop me a message on Twitter, because I'm looking at doing something for August called All Ghost, which I did last year, and that involves telling of ghost stories in August. Then of course, oh yeah, we've got the K1, the Kettlewell K1 robot, the Cyber King, and a Raxacoricophalapatorian, also known as a Slitheen. I love that. Raxacoricophalapatorian, just rolls off the tongue. Okay. the moment you've all been waiting for. Apart from another Doctor Who figure, that is a... I can never remember. I call myself a Whovian. Oh yeah, it's a Croton. But, if I just take down the Croton and move him down one shelf, one of my most important shelves, of course. I have at least 2 comic book shelves. So, casting spells? So yeah, I've got all my Batman comic books. These are all my DC comic books. Going in, obviously moving in towards Marvel. So yeah, we've got, obviously... I honestly prefer Batman over Superman when it comes to Marvel. I actually do think Batman, I'll be honest, is the better... Because I don't consider him a superhero. I consider him a highly trained vigilante. So, yeah, I have got at least one Frank Miller comic in my collection as well. Because of... Oh, and then obviously we've got Marvel here as well. Captain America, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Daredevil. Because obviously I know that Frank Miller is considered in the comic book world to be a bit of a controversial figure these days. And then obviously we move down to Marvel. Quite a bit of Spider-Man in my collection, actually. ASMR Shani would... Hi Sage. Thank you for joining me. I think if Shani were here, she'd be proud of me having quite a bit of Spider-Man stuff in my collection. So yeah, we've obviously got I've got 2 copies of Civil War. I've got a hardback version and a softback version. I actually bought them I actually bought Civil War and Prelude as a double pack at a charity shop. They'd bagged them up together. Well, that's where I put my Chronicles of Genghis Grimtoad. Oh, I wonder where I put that one. That's a lesser known Marvel comic book, very lesser known. Just move King Hydroflax out the way. Then obviously got, couldn't have my comic book collection, I always felt, wouldn't be complete without Age of Ultron, Civil War or Infinity War. And obviously I've got a couple of copies of Moon Knight, Marvel 1602, plenty of Daredevil. Just move my other Doctor Who figurines back. And then down here we've got Watchmen. I honestly believe that if you're a collector, you have to have at least one Alan Moore comic in your collection. That's just me. It's not compulsory, but that's just how I. Obviously, I've got Spawn. Obviously, my Doctor Who comics. Rivers of London by Aronovich. Rivers of London as written by Ben Aronovich, Andrew Cartmel, who were both Doctor Who writers in the 1980s. The Cartmel, if you're a Doctor Who fan, you might be familiar with the Cartmel Master Plan. And then, of course, Power Rangers. I've got 2 Power Rangers comic books. Oh yeah, I have got V for Vendetta. Moving on, Savage Dragon. Sherlock Holmes is kind of the steampunk side of things, but I visited Whitby last year, and I actually picked up this one in Whitby at the Abbey, and it is a full graphic novel. It's the graphic novel, basically. Then obviously for here, we've got some more of my hardbacks. I mean, these are Marvel, but they won't fit on certain shelves. So we've got, obviously, Blastosaurus. If you can get a copy of that, do so. I got it quite a few years ago, though, so I don't know if it's still in print. But if you can find a copy of Blastosaurus, do get it. It's incredible fun. There's the cover. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's Terry Jones. I don't think that's Terry Jones of Monty Python, who's sadly no longer with us. And then obviously I've got more of my Doctor Who comic books as well. But on the shelf below are the comic books that kick-started. Oh, and there's my figurines. Doomsday from DC. Drathro from Trial of a Time Lord Part 1. The Mysterious Planet. King Hydroflax. And I can never remember what they're called. Oh yeah, the Maya from Doctor Who as well. But these are the ones that really started. I mean, most people would say to me, oh yeah, and in there is the Amazingly, which is a graphic novel of Stan Lee's life. Most people would say to me though, didn't you start with the Dandy and the Beano? Well, I enjoyed reading them, but it was Asterix that really got me into comic books. Really did get me into comic books. And I literally have, because these ones are all just some of the more, well, I've literally got all the stories, apart from I think 2, which are the more modern ones. Asterix and the Picts and Asterix and the Chariot Race are 2 of the most recent ones. Yeah. And then, of course, I actually bought the Scott Pilgrim comic books after I saw the movie. Yeah, I haven't got any Tintin graphic books. No, I've always been more of an Asterix fan, to be honest. So yeah, I got Scott Pilgrim, Dragon Ball. That is the Cell Saga. I only ever went for the Cell Saga. Then, of course, my Lego books, because I am an adult fan of Lego. So that's where I get all my... And then, of course, I've got some silly books down here for Lego as well. Jerry Anderson, because I love things like Thunderbirds. SS Great Britain, my game books. Crime Museum, Sherlock Holmes. Mendip Underground is actually all about the cave systems. And then, of course, I've got some more DVDs there. Blues Brothers, the Peanuts season, holiday specials, Happy Time Murders. Well, yeah, the Thunderbird movies. I have got Tintin. I have got Tintin on DVD though. I have got, I haven't got them in comic book form, but I have got them because I used to watch them on Channel 4 here in the UK. When they used to show them on TV. So I've got 12 episodes on... Oh no, that one's got 5 episodes. But, yeah, so... And then obviously down there, got some more Doctor Who's and some bigger books. So I'll try and get down there if I can. Secret Underground, a couple of Railway books. Gilbert and George are 2 of my favourite modern artists. I actually got those books 20 years ago in 2001. So those books are 20 years old. These 2 here. Great Western Railway, more trains. That is my Tutankhamun exhibition book when I went to the exhibition in 2019. That was a real good day. Yeah, I can't bend down that much. Oh Oh, that's my Dalek Emperor and Mechanoid, so we'll just move them down. So we're basically onto the last bookshelf. This is my sort of history, sort of general knowledge, bit of Doctor Who as well. Very much British history, Romans, Victorians. Yeah, book by Michael Portillo there, does railway journeys, but that was his series on disused buildings. Places I've been to: Bristol, HQS Wellington, talking about the prisoner at Port Merion, and then obviously books about Dover and things like that. So that's that shelf. I just move over my two Yetis and Mizabi. Down here we've got, I'm fascinated by Charles Darwin, so I've got copies of his notebook, Origin of Species and Voyage of the Beagle, and The Descent of Man. Then I've got some more history books, something about pocket biography of Brunel, The Worst Jobs in History by Tony Robinson, who retweeted the Blackadder tweet by, I'm just moving the Yeti back into position. I think that one's from the Web Abominable Snowman. The other one's from Web of Fear. Both Patrick Troughton stories. But yeah, things that I've put out, I bought on holiday again, and day trips to London. So there's a lot of I love London. If I could, I'd live there if I could afford it. But sadly, I can't. London is if you want to live in London, you need to be born in London, I reckon. Or you have to have a super paid job or win the lottery. And then obviously we've got some more Doctor Who books here. A couple of books regarding the Royal Navy, a seaman's pocket book, the Royal Navy officer's pocket book. Books about Wales. That's the Principality, not the animal. Wales is a principality, not a country, obviously because of the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles. Now we get down to the real sort of gritty stuff for you gamers. Obviously, as you know, I'm a tabletop wargamer, and you've often seen me point these out in my previous live streams. So I've got the original first edition Apocalypse books for Warhammer 40k Apocalypse, Liber Chaotica, Horus Heresy. This is in fact the third edition Warhammer Fantasy rulebook. This one is the 7th edition rulebook, 5th edition Warhammer 40,000 rulebook, 4th edition Warhammer 40,000 rulebook. I have got the 3rd edition, but it's up in the loft. And I've got various codexes. So I'm an Orcs player, so I've got a large Orc army of about 5,000 points. I've got two copies of the same Chaos Space Marine Codex for some reason. I'm not sure why. Plus the new one. Then obviously I've got the original Codex Witch Hunters. Sisters of Battle have just come back out. And then obviously for all you D&D fans out there, I do have 3 Dungeons and Dragons books. So, I have tried my best to teach myself the basics for... And this one here, Fantasy Gaming, is basically if you want to try and create your own game. But it's actually done a lot for me for creating characters for the Lord of War and Heartache, surprisingly. And then obviously here, are all my steampunk books. So we've got, I showed these last week, I think, briefly. Steampunk Gazette, steampunk soldiers, very beautifully put together. Steampunk Bible, that one's just called Gothic Dreams Steampunk, which is sort of the artwork of steampunk. Steampunk Lego, and sort of an illustrated history of steampunk, which I also showed you last week. Then down here we've got more of my, just move that wire out the way, that's just a plug, more of my sort of general interest books, joy of painting, mixed things, astronomy, lots of science, lots of history, art, Tate Modern, Van Gogh and Britain, and then some archaeology, some Welsh and Latin dictionaries, Hampton Court Palace, the Museum of London book. They're my English Heritage Guide books. And then obviously some Doctor Who books. The Bad Movie Bible, and if you like bad movies, yes, The Room is mentioned in there. And there's another, and then below that I've got some more geek books. Obviously my Warhammer 40k novels that don't fit on the other shelves. Some more Doctor Who books. Yes, I am a Whovian. How did you guess? And then obviously some railway books and more guidebooks. And at the very bottom, my copy of all three The Lord of the Rings novels put together into one big book. The Vault, the official that's sort of like a collection of all the characters. Star Wars Identities was something I got at the actual place. It does have like a book in it of all the... So yeah, that's basically my bookshelves. And then above that, we've got just some Lego, just some random Lego, a Lego like lamp, a couple of dinosaurs, a couple of TARDISes, the Dalek Emperor from Parting of the Ways. But yeah, so that's basically my bookshelves. And then over here, got some, I'll just move that out of the way. I've got some more Funko Pops, some Daubs, also by Funko. So we've got the Child, Vegeta, Liu Kang, Kitana and Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. Although technically they're not Velociraptors, they're actually Deinonychus, which is the larger cousin of the Velociraptor. But obviously they just use the name Velociraptor because it actually sounds better than Deinonychus. So yeah, here we've got some more of my Doctor Who figurines, the majority of them from various eras, from first right up through to the 13th Doctor. You can see the Kablam delivery man there. Sutekh and the Mummy from the 4th Doctor story Pyramids of Mars. Different eras of Ice Warrior. Ood. Two of the three Autons. One from the from Rose, one from Terror of the Autons, and one from Spearhead from Space. which Terror of the Autons and Spearhead from Space is a third Doctor story. Then obviously I showed you all this last week, but I'm happy to show it again. Obviously this time a little less disastrous than last week because I nearly demolished the whole thing. So we've got all my minifigures that I have on display. My custom made, I made these myself, but these are my Rhett and Link minifigures there. Above them we've got my custom made Power Ranger minifigures. You can see them all there next to their sort of respective. I've had these lights since Christmas and I never took them down. I think it's because they created extra light at the time. So, and then obviously we've got Cell, Grogu and the Mandalorian, a couple more Daleks, an Ice Warrior action figure, and then yeah, we've got Edna Mode and Dorothy minifigures. We've got Dragon minifigure, Baron von Baron, and that's the original Baron von Baron minifigure. I have got the original Johnny Thunder minifigure. I've got the remake from, and then obviously above here we've got more Doctor Who minifigures, Doctor Who figurines, I beg your pardon. That's my Gorilla Pod. A lot of Cybermen from different eras. I think I've got a Cyberman for every era now. Then I've got all the Doctors up to 13. More minifigures as well. Mtron, this one here, Mtron. Oh, if I lift up his visor, that's one of the very first minifigures I ever had. Hence why I'm a huge fan of Mtron. So there's all 14 Doctors I should say, because obviously of the War Doctor. So technically, she's actually the 14th Doctor if you think about it. Several incarnations of the Master. We've got Delgado. I think that's the Peter Pratt version. I think, yeah, that's the Peter Pratt version from Deadly Assassin, not the Geoffrey Beavers version from Keeper of Traken. Then obviously we've got Rassilon and Omega, both versions of Omega. So we've got the marvellous Roger Delgado, Peter Pratt, Anthony Ainley, Sir Derek Jacobi, and John Sims Master. Haven't got one yet of Michelle Gomez or that's awful, I've forgotten his, Sacha Darwin yet. And then of course we've got the Doctor in their alternative outfits as well. Obviously we've got the Valiard, a Weeping Angel, Don't Blink, Mandrel, a couple of Jadoon, and various other. So yeah, oh, and then this side we've got some more Funkos. So here we've got the 13th Doctor, 11th Doctor Mr. Clever from Nightmare in Silver, Weird Al Yankovic, the Reconnaissance Dalek from Resolution, Deadpool as Bob Ross from his trailer that he did for Deadpool 2, Tom Servo from MST3K, and then down behind my camera lens, which I've just moved, we've got Dovahkiin, Codsworth, and the Lone Wanderer. So if I just put that back, and that thing that looks a bit like a fire dragonfly is in fact a gun from the Mandalorian set. And then down here, we've just got my Lego Batman minifigures, which I've never actually got round to putting up. So, all in all, I will just give you a view of the other end of the room. And then, of course, there we've got my cupboards, which you've never been able to see before because they never had doors on them until recently. So, you know, all my clutter is hidden, finally. I call it clutter, it's treasure, really. We'll go back to, and we'll get this back on charge, because I'm sure I've eaten up quite a bit of battery doing that, but I hope you enjoyed that. I said I would do it, and it does make it a bit different, so I'm just going to check how much. Charge only, there we go. Good 20%, but you know, not complaining. I'm happy that I was able to finally show you my workspace where the magic happens. You know, this is pretty much. Oh yeah, my green screen is folded up over there on top of the box. I do hope you were having you've been having a good old chinwag whilst I've been showing you around. But yeah, just for hopefully it'll focus. If I move out of the way, will it focus? No, I'll tell you what. I'll post up, for those of you on Twitter, I'll take some photos of my minifigures and post it up on Twitter, which I'm more than happy to do for you. So yes, you know, very exciting times coming up. As I say, Chapter 13 is now well underway with production. Chapter 14 is now underway. It was my absolute pleasure to do it. I said I have been promising for a while that I'd do a room tour. Because obviously I'd been using Streamlabs previously on my laptop to stream. Because obviously I'm a small channel and I don't meet the regular criteria. Organised chaos, if anything. You haven't seen. I have not showed you the inside of the cupboards. No, it's more organised than you think, to be honest with you. More organised than it ever used to be. So, yeah, you know, everything's looking pretty bright at the moment. I mean, you know, we've got some very exciting things on the way. Julie! Ooh, you haven't seen my boxes. You have not seen my Lego boxes. Yeah. Not. I'm an AFOL. I collect. I only build certain sets. I buy a set and I don't build it because I keep the parts for other projects that I never get round to building. So at least you build some of them. You know, unless they're specifically expensive sets, I build them if they're expensive sets or they're like collector sets. Otherwise, I just keep the parts for my own little things, which I never get around to building. Them's the breaks. But, you know, it's... Sorry, I've just been distracted by something on my screen. Itch. Oh, it's okay. It's not what I thought it was. That's okay. Yeah, you know. that's what. No, no, it's okay. I found what I'm looking for. That's fine. It's okay. I'm just sifting through some folders. No, I put that in the wrong folder. There we go. Into source material. I need to redo the title cards as well. Okay. You know when you're trying to say, you're thinking of something to say, and your mind locks, and then you want to try and say something, but it won't let you, and you're, you know, trying to make yourself not look like a complete and utter idiot. My mind has gone completely blank. Oh, yeah. So, you know, very exciting times, very, very exciting. I mean, you know, we've got some big things happening for the channel and the future of the project. For example, you know, we've now got every single person in the academy. We've got, you know, there are still plenty of slots for other chapters as well. You know, I can make them available. You know, if you're ever interested in collaborating and you're not on Twitter or Instagram, the email address for anyone watching this back is in my channel bio. So you can go to my channel bio and drop me an email via my Gmail account. You know, I mean, we've got some really good chapters coming up in the project. You know, and it's really picking up pace now. I mean, you know, there's chapters where I'm only looking for about 2 or 3 people. You know, I only need about 2 or 3 people. There's one where I've even, you know, only got 1 person to find. No rush, because I have set all the deadlines now. I need to let people know, but due to all the setbacks, I've actually set all the deadlines to either the 31st of August or the 30th of September. If people get their videos into me sooner, that helps. But because I'm still struggling to find people to take on roles, the roles that I refer to as gender fluid, non-binary, anyone can play them. Anybody can play them. You know, there's plenty of characters that anyone can play. I mean, the male characters, I can more than likely do myself. I can probably voice them myself. The thing is, I don't want them all to sound like, you know, the characters I already do. You know, like Rafik, Volkov, Trajan, Garen, Geoffrey of Trigon. You know, the Tyrant King. You know, I would like to have some different male voices along the way, and I think that's the thing I like about that. As I say, the female characters, there are still quite a few female characters available. I think we've got it quite balanced though for male and female. I think there's pretty much the same number of characters there remaining for them. Let's have a look. How many have we got? We've got 16 female characters remaining at the moment, up to chapter 31, and 17 male characters remaining up to chapter 31. And then for what I refer to as gender fluid non-binary characters, we actually have 25 of them. So again, they're characters that male, female, you know, anyone, regardless of their how they identify, can participate. The beauty of the thing is, the beauty that I find in my project is, because I do audio, I don't have, if people want to do audio, they can do that. You know, they don't have to make a video. Some characters are video centric. You know, there are some characters that are best done on video, but there's a lot of characters that can be done through audio. And you know, my characters, for example, are all pretty much audio voices. So you know, we've got a total of we've got a grand total of 58 characters left to cast, and as I say, that's going up to chapter 34. So you know, once they're all cast, I can start planning chapter 35 onwards. And I mean, I'm feeling really ambitious. I would love to take it up to at least chapter 100. That's how ambitious I feel about this project. That's how much faith I have in this project. You know, if it can go beyond 100, because you know, I've got big ideas, big ideas, and if I can pull them off, I think it will create an event. Yeah, I use a piece of software called Audacity. I record, because I'm not using it at the moment, I'm recording through my phone, so I'm using the microphone, but I do use my trusty Blue Yeti microphone, which I got for Christmas, to record my audio, so it's a lot more clearer. But then what I do is I record it through Audacity, which is a free piece of audio editing software. You can download it completely for free online. All the details are found. I list all the software and things like that in my, you know, all the technical details, where the music comes from that I use, the software that I use to record. Because I use various, you know, I use like a Photoshop for backgrounds. You know, I have various different methods and technologies at my hand. It's kept me going through the lockdowns. That is the big thing. You know, taking this up as a hobby has really helped me through the lockdown, and obviously becoming part of the ASMR community has been a huge boon to me as well. You know, and as I say, we've had so many wonderful people aboard. You know, I'm going to give. I like to try and give them a shout out if I can during the live streams. So we've got, and this is a huge thank you to everyone. Black Cat Aura, Official Rainer Tamrin, Sleeping Artist ASMR, Crystal Ball ASMR, Yoloma ASMR, Articulate Design ASMR, Mike Talks ASMR, World Bry ASMR, Jodie Marie ASMR, Kata ASMR, Quaint ASMR, Whisperwind ASMR, Urmila Dolce ASMR, Mysterious ASMR, Spinner of Trails, Atlas ASMR. Congratulations to him, by the way, for reaching 100,000 subscribers. That's fantastic, absolutely amazing. He really does deserve that. He is an amazing content creator. He was one of my inspirations to become an ASMR artist, you know. And then we've got Northern Rob ASMR, Jess K Creative, Lumi Umi, Miss Chic, Savin Yen, Dappist, Exploring ASMR, Heliquin Noir, They Seek Her There, Uplifting ASMR, Shigur. He does go by a different name on other social media, but I've got to send him the script. Sleep Stories. She's in chapter 15. Sleep Stories ASMR. If you get a chance, go over to her channel. It's an absolutely beautiful channel. I really do recommend her channel as well. Sleep Stories ASMR. She's really creative, really clever in her video editing. You know, she is truly a joy. Her channel is truly a joy to view. We've also got Gentle Rain ASMR, Sheila Whispers, Silver Spoon Service. A couple of people who aren't, someone called Eat Zone, Prosman Post. I don't know his name, Julie, but I've referred to him on my list as the son of Sleeping Artist ASMR. Tingle Storm, Goody, Lucio Non-Euro ASMR, Entangled, Sugar. I think I still need to send her a list. Sugar ASMR, Quiet Cat, Midnight Raven. I will say it. Findom ASMR, Bewitched ASMR, Spinner of Trail. Oh no, we've had him. Clover Cutie ASMR, Kitty Garden, Simplicity, ASMR Whispers UK, Laurie ASMR, and last but not least, Riley Rose. And the last number of people, and most of the people that I've listed are all future participants. But Nick the Click VA, thank you very much. I will update my list so that I can credit him properly in the credits when I come to write them. Oh, no, what's happened there? Nick the Click VA, there we go. That just helps me when I come to write the opening credit. Yeah, we've got some really amazing. I mean, some of them have only appeared once, like Atlas, Articulate. Articulate Design has appeared once. So has Quaint. No, we have got some well, yourself certainly, Julie, recurring cast members. I know that everyone can't sort of drop what they're doing and get involved, but I like to. The invitation to return as other characters is always there, or reprise characters is always there, and that's the thing. I mean, how many characters? I've just working out how many characters I play across the project. Oh my god, I've still got, for me, I've still got, how many scripts have I got left to write? For me, 16. I've still got 16 scripts for myself to write, but I normally write them last minute. But in the series, from chapter 1 through to chapter 21, including 3 parts I'm playing in the Academy, 2 in the Dreamrealm Saga, and 8 in the side story chapters. I play a total of 43 characters across the board, so I have to try and find 43 different voices. That's going to be, some of them I can just slip into, like Rafiq is very easy to slip into, because he is such a well-spoken villain. Except I have to lower it down by a few pitch down to -15 in order to get the real voice of Rafik. Then of course you've got Lord Volkov, which I have to take down, as I said earlier on, to a -20 if I need to get his voice sounding sinister enough. And then again for another 20 you've got Ha! Caught ya prowling, didn't I? The name's Maximus. I seem to be getting an incoming call from a number I don't recognise. Fortunately it's not ringing, otherwise you would be hearing a Japanese Super Sentai, no, Kamen Rider theme song, Kamen Rider Ghost. So it's a good job I've accidentally put my phone on silent, so hopefully they'll ring off. It's a mobile number I don't recognise. If it's important, they can leave a message. That's what I always say, if it's important, they can leave a message. Mind you, they're calling at 1:45. Yeah, I'm probably going to take this to about 5:02, because obviously I'd like to jump over to Julie's. As I say, this was kind of unplanned, but I thought with the soccer on tomorrow night, England versus Scotland, the background noise probably wouldn't be suitable for a live stream, so that's why I'm doing it this evening. Yeah, that three-way conversation in Triumph in Trigon, which is my most recent video, was very, very hard work, because obviously I recorded all three voices separately, and then spliced them all together. And of course I had to make Garen left hand earphone, Charing right hand earphone, and keep Jeffrey as the centralised voice, so it sounded like they were talking, around each other. That was quite complicated. It's easier when it's just two characters talking, like for example, say when it was, the closest I got to that before was the one with which featured Volkov, Boris and Maximus, because Boris and Maximus actually crossed over into that chapter. The chapter's called Darkest Hour, but because it wasn't actually a full three-way conversation, it was easier to do because it went from Boris to Volkov, Volkov to Maximus, Maximus to Boris, and then Boris to back to Maximus, who then had the Boris then left the room, and Maximus carried on with Volkov. You'd have to hear the story. As I say, Triumph and Trigon was probably the hardest, because although they're technically two separate stories, merged into one, because I had to do 6 different voices, because obviously there's me as the narrator. I usually narrate unless it's a specific video, like say Cleo and Trajan, or I invite someone else to narrate for another chapter. But I had to record all three voices for the first half, and then 2 more voices for the second half. So I had to make sure they all worked together. And although section 1 and section... No, they're all separate recordings. They are all separate recordings. I actually leave a gap between each line of dialogue which I then adjust. So I tend to leave, say, like a 10-second gap, but that 10 seconds of silence I copy and paste until that gives me anywhere up to like a gap of a minute between. No, that's okay, Sage. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, drive safely. No, that's no problem. Just talking technical stuff, really. I think, so. So I record each voice as a separate track, and then splice them all together afterwards. Which this one took me to edit all the audio together for Triumph and It's quicker to do a collaboration where there's multiple people involved. So when it's just me doing voices. Triumph and Trigon took me a total of 5 hours to edit from start to finish. It took me longer than that, because it took me about 2.5 hours to record all the voices. Then it took me 5 hours to edit all the audio together, because obviously there were mistakes and I had to go back and restart a couple of times. Then it took me about an hour and a half to construct it all in my video editing software. And finally, it took about 45 minutes to render. So it took quite a bit of time to do. That was probably my longest and most complicated audio piece for the project so far. I think on that note, I will sign off. Thank you so very much for joining me. Julie, I will see you very shortly in your premiere. And everyone who's in the chat, please do jump over to Sleeping Artist ASMR's channel and join her for her premiere. Always fun to be had. And as always, take care, look after yourselves, and next week will be the big one, because next week is my 1-year channelversary. I will probably do it on the Friday, mainly because I do find the turnout does tend to be better, and I can organise it better. And also tomorrow night is the premiere on Raina's channel of Xena Warrior Princess, or is it Yoloma's? But Xena Warrior Princess is ASMR is premiering tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, I thought that might affect a live stream. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. All the very best. Do look after yourselves. Take care. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Just trying to think of all the things I wouldn't do. Yeah, we could be here all night. So anyway, I'm terrible at signing off. So thank you so much for joining. If you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. Click the bell for notifications when I upload, and I do upload. I'm not a regular uploader, but I'm more regular than I ever used to be. So all the best, and I will just about to click the end. So I will see you next week for the big one, my 1-year channelversary. Bye for now.